The course is designed to present students with an overview of the role played by law in the relationship between the Canadian state and Aboriginal peoples, and also the role that law might play in transforming that relationship. And so it's designed to introduce students to that general idea. My aspirations for the course are that I hope that students will come out of the course having a much better understanding of that relationship, and having an understanding of the importance of that, of understanding that relationship, because I think it's not only in the legal field per se that this is important, but in practically every sphere of activity in our country today. I think what's really unique about the course is beyond the experiential learning format, which we hope to involve students in lots of activities that will help them develop skills and really retain learning, is the perspective that we're bringing, so that not only will students be getting insight into Aboriginal law, which is the law of the Canadian state as it relates to Aboriginal peoples, but also into Indigenous law, which is the law of Aboriginal peoples themselves. And in order to do that, we'll be calling on the help of leading scholars of Indigenous law and leaders in Aboriginal communities. One example of a possible guest lecturer is Dr. Mark Dockstader from the First Nations University of Canada, who's a leading scholar on Indigenous law. And so I'm very excited about the possibility of involving guest lecturers like that in the course. I think that an understanding of the relationship, broadly speaking, of Canada and Aboriginal peoples is relevant to every sphere of activity in the country today. And so that goes from resource development to environmental regulation to cultural programs in the arts to, specifically for engineering students, to intellectual property rights, for example. And so those all areas are really affected, and it will be an asset for anyone to have an understanding of the nature of the relationship between Canada and Aboriginal peoples in whatever sphere of activity they choose. I think my biggest hope for the course is that it will provide a venue for Indigenous perspectives in particular to be brought into the legal education environment, broadly speaking, so that includes in the university environment. I think there needs to be more spaces for Indigenous voices. I think that my hope is that the course might help in forming leaders, really, who will take on the work of reconciliation, which is so badly needed in our country, between Canada and Aboriginal peoples. And it's a work that the Truth and Reconciliation Commission has suggested is of capital importance, and I agree with that. I think the students will leave with a greater understanding of the unique relationship between Canada and Aboriginal peoples and the need to transform that relationship. And I hope that they will become leaders in leading the process of reconciliation, which so badly needs to happen in our country. And so I think that course will allow them to do that.